There was this comment left some time ago, or like maybe a week or so. It was just this young little boy, only about a wee bit 15 years old, nothing younger, nothing older. And he was worried about his height. He was expressing like he's 5'6", he feels short, and he wants to know if there's still room to grow, basically, at the age of 15. So I told him, well, this is what I said, like that all depends on your genetics, right? So if in your family tree it's mostly made up of tall people, you're more likely to be tall. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be the guarantee, but you're most likely to be tall. And if your family is made up of shorter people, or people who at the very most don't exceed past 6 foot or exceed past 5'10", then you're most likely going to be like around their height. But again, that's not. I'm not saying it's also impossible to be 6 foot if you have a family members of like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". Now he's only 15 years old, so he still can grow. He still can get taller. Um, but that again, that just all depends on him. I mean, I'm not a scientist or anything. I can't just like explain like, oh, if you do these, you'll just lengthen your limbs or whatever. I'm 6 foot, but that's because I have people in my family that are 6 foot or even taller. So it was going to be genetic for me to get up to this height. But in general, like, okay, he's very young. So with young people, including myself, I'm not out of this loop as well. I'm in the same exact category. We have a tendency to focus on the more superficial aspects of things, right? So, and that could be the same for just adults too. But for young people, generally, we generally just base things purely off of how they look outwardly, and we derive value from that because it's like it's the most immediate attraction, right? It's the most immediate thing to tell us like what's this, what's that, what can I get from this, what can I not get from that. And so him seeing himself as short, being 5'6", he's maybe he's very insecure. Like, it's not like he poured out his heart in the comments, but maybe he feels very insecure about it. Maybe it makes him nervous in school or something like that. If he likes girls, maybe it's difficult for him to feel like he might attract a girl. But again, these are superficial aspects of this. If you focus purely on your height and how short you are, you're gonna mentally as well, you're gonna be short for the rest of your life, right? But if you treat your height as like, okay, this is me. If you like your skin color, right? You can't change your skin color. If you were born brown, if you were born black, if you were born white, if you're born tan, I don't know, whatever, however, the many different skin colors, like no one is going to be like, look at you, blackie. I mean, back then, yes, and some people still now, yes. But with our skin color, not a lot of people are like, man, I wish I was born white, or I wish I was born Jewish, or I wish I was born white. Like, not a lot of people do that. There is not that many people do that. Most people who are born in their skin color accept their skin color. And when it comes to our height, so the reason why he might feel so insecure about his height is because of the way, I guess, the internet is. Things are so saturated, so overly saturated, that we only see the best of the best, right? So on the internet world, everybody is 6 foot, everybody has big titties, everybody has a big ass, everybody has a six pack, everybody is successful, everybody's rich to some degree, everybody has something going for them. This isn't the real world, right? These are people who are, for one, they're not even showing the full truth, right? What they're selling you is a fantasy. They're selling you a dream for the most part, because they're curating what type of content they want to show you in the first place. So it's like, okay, you think that you're short, but let's say there's a society out there where they don't even know about this type of stuff. Like, they don't have social media, they don't have this, they don't have that. You go to that society and you might be respected differently. Now I do know that internet have like, this generation's internet access kind of has made us make judgments on people that, are don't make sense. Like, every girl says, oh, I want to be six. I want a 6 foot man. I want a 6 foot man. And every girl under the age of like what 25 is going to be saying, I want a 6 foot man. I want a 6 foot man. But they probably couldn't even tell the difference between like 5'10" and 6 foot, to be honest. Um, so it's like, and then when you get older, I'm pretty sure those same women, when they get older, they're not gonna care if they have a 6 foot guy, a 6 foot guy to the T. Like they're not gonna care about that. They're gonna be worried about other things in life. So this guy, even for other people that are listening that feel the same way about just anything, you need to focus on better things in life, bro. Like that, like you're worried about your height, you're worried about how tall you are. That right there is just going to be like a thing that's gonna happen. Like your height is your height, you know. Your height is your height. I was trying to find a big word to describe that situation, um, but you're gonna if you're born and then you're gonna grow a certain amount, and then that's gonna be it for the rest of your life. And that's something that you shouldn't worry about, right? Like imagine it was like, oh man, I hope when I grow up I turn white. Oh man, I hope when I grow up I turn Asian. Hopefully my skin color starts to lighten. Like imagine if I was like that about my skin color. Like imagine. So you have to take other aspects in your life that you have direct control over. Your height is not one of them. All right, your height is not one of them. Your hair texture isn't one of them. So you have to make adjustments. You have to change other aspects of your life. Okay, maybe you're short. Maybe you feel like you're short. Maybe you don't get the proper attention when you're short. But there's other aspects in life that you can heighten. You can have, increase your access to resources, like become more wealthy. You can become very fit and healthy. You can become very knowledgeable. You can, study a lot, things like that. Focus on other aspects of life, because something like focusing on your height, that's like it's a waste of time, to be honest. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of mental energy, and all you're gonna go through is anguish. You're just gonna put yourself through mental anguish because, unfortunately, you were not able to grow to the height of 6 foot. Which, again, not that many people are 6 foot. Actually, it's like a small percentage of the world, of at least in the U.S. as well, that are 6 foot. Like, not that many people are 6 feet tall, guys. Like, think about it, bro. And some of the guys that say they're 6 foot, they're probably like 5'11". Hell, I told you that I was 6 foot. I'm not 6 foot to the T. I'm 5'11", 3/4, right? So it's like I just sat here and said I'm 6 foot, but I'm not actually 6 foot. I'm close to it. But all these other guys that are saying they're 6 foot this, 6 foot that, they're probably 5'10", 5'11", 5'10" and a half, right? That might be close to 6 foot, but they're not 6 foot. So that's one thing. Again, people lie. People lie. So you don't want to focus your life entirely on something that people set up through lying, right? You're going to focus on your height for the rest of your life. Now, maybe at 15, that's going to seem like it seems like as if something like your height is like a life or death situation. But when you get older and you have more responsibilities and you have more things to take care of, and there's other things you got to watch out for, your height is going to be like the last thing you're worried about, bro. It's a little like sad to see like a grown man like still irritated or upset about his height. Again, that's something you can't change. That's something that you can't go into your gene pool and like change that. There is like people who get limb lengthening surgeries, which I think is like dumb. It's like, come on. I mean, really? Like you were that worried about your height that you like had to like possibly like ruin the rest of your life? Like some people don't even make a full recovery, and they're like, can you run? Can you jump? How are the health of your legs? Are they strong still? Because what you're doing is you're breaking the bone. You're breaking the bone, and when the bone heals back, it's not as strong as it was before. So it's just like, don't focus on something like that, try and learn that as you're young. That way you can be ahead of other young people. Don't be like, oh, I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'6", or I'm 5'7", or I'm 5'8". I'm not 6 foot. I'm never gonna get the girls. I'm never gonna get that dream job. I'm never gonna get the respect that I deserve. Well, first you gotta respect yourself. All right. All right. If you believe entirely that you're short, you're gonna be short the rest of your life. No one's gonna notice you. No one's gonna see any good qualities about you. you're just gonna be that one guy who was short or who people saw as short. You're not gonna get any girls being like, "Oh, I'm not 6 foot. Can I go to 6 feet? Is there a way for me to go to 6 feet? Please tell me." Like, I don't know, man. I wouldn't know. I was born this way. I wouldn't know. I mean, I don't know if it's possible. I don't know how science works. It's possible. It could happen. But 9 times out of 10, you just gotta look at your family tree. You know, you just gotta see: is your dad 6 foot? Is your grandpa 6 foot? Are any women in your family 6 foot? Yes, no. Okay, well that depends. But right now, that shouldn't be something you worry about. You shouldn't be worried about that ever. You know, like sure, there's the whole thing where people who are 6 foot get treated better, or people who are just taller in general get treated better. But again, it's like you have to still make those differences. You still have to make you have to be able to separate yourself to where people can't deny you. You know, you have to have all these great qualities where people will look at you and just be like, "Hey, man, I can't say nothing. I can't talk shit. I can't blah blah blah." That way, it's like you're respected because you have all of these great aspects. Imagine if Kendrick Lamar. I think Kendrick Lamar is maybe around the same height. He's a shorter guy. Even Kanye West, right? Some of the most famous people on the earth. Imagine if they let their height stop them from reaching the success that they have today. Imagine if at 15 years old they stopped growing they didn't get to 6 foot. Imagine if they were worried and stressed out about that stuff, man. They would be losers. They would be complete losers, man. And don't be a loser. Don't be a loser who sits and whines and complains about the fact that he's not 6 foot. Now, I'm not saying that this 15-year-old boy is like whining and complaining, but still, it's like, he's saying he's worried about, he feels like he's short, but it's like there's other things that you should worry about that's going to bring value into your life. Pick up a book, go play a sport, go dedicate your life to something that, makes you happy, that you enjoy, things like that. And he's very young, 15, still like in high school, not even a senior yet, and he still has so much like years. Like he's 15, 16, 17, 18. That is 3 years. 3 years he can focus on something completely, some type of new skill, some type of business maybe. Maybe he can save money if he's working. He can save money. That's 3 years to build up all that other stuff to where like your height won't even be a factor. You won't even be thinking about that. And you might get made fun of a little bit. Oh, you're 6 foot or you're short, whatever the case may be. But that's just how life is. People who are tall get made fun of because they're tall, right? People who are skinny get made fun of. People who are fat get made fun of. People who even have muscles get made fun of. All right. No one is safe from getting made fun of. Everybody gets made fun of. Hard workers get made fun of. Lazy people get made fun of. Rich people get made fun of. Poor people get made fun of. So it doesn't matter which walk of life you're going. You're just gonna get made fun of. So just don't worry about that type of stuff. It's something very superficial. And again, like other people's words, other people's opinions, if you're letting that affect the way that you feel, like again, that is like I don't think I've said this before, but that is a form of slavery. If you're allowing the way other people think about you and what other people say about you or say to you affect how you feel inside, interrupt and disrupt your own inner peace, then that's a form of slavery. You just became, at least for that moment in time, a slave to that person. You know, so don't worry about stuff like your height. All right, there's so many other things in life that will bring you a lot more value.